So I was lucky enough back in the day to move up to Atlanta at the very tail end of a lot of great comic studios. And one of the ones I got to know well was Studio Revolver. And at Studio Revolver, they had one of the greats, loose cannon, very opinionated, very loud, but definitely changed the industry for the better in so many ways. That would be Mr. Jason Pearson. So today I want to look at these two soft covers that came with the Artist Edition Kickstarter. Man, this is something I'm really hoping more big publishers do, including Act 4, because these were amazing. And like I said, I love your all's big books, but I really hope you don't abandon these. Let's take a look. So I love sharing my collection with y'all, but I am a cartoonist at the end of the day, and I keep forgetting to promote myself a little bit more. But yeah, I make a series called Bang the Ballad of the Tiger, and right now I got three volumes out. Actually, working on chapter 23 as we speak, and you can read the first 16 for free on my website, joshgreathouse.com. No strings attached. 24 pages per chapter, free to read. So anyway, back to the video. So what do we have here? These are two soft covers, and I hope, like I said, more companies do this because it's just fun to see. So we got the artist edition and the lock and loaded sketchbook. This has all the production art, planning, sketches for body bags. This is the kind of stuff like only the artist really looks at. This is the stuff to help keep them on model, figure out ideas, stuff like that. This is all the commission sketches that he was doing in between. So this doesn't have a lot to do with body bags, but it's the kind of thing it's fun to see. And here's the other thing. Both of these pieces were done for the Don't Die Until I Kill You. Unfortunately, not a lot of that art survived. Like, we don't know what happened to it. So just kind of show you the back. So like I said, I don't know, and I can understand like maybe making one of these uh Kickstarter exclusive, but like I said, this is something I know a lot of fans would love to get, especially if they can't afford the big artisan edition. And I love these kind of books because like man, I might not be able to afford a commission, but I can afford this. So let's start off with the sketches first and look at the commissions. So once again, the other thing, especially with Act 4, I love their design work. This is done by Saravan, but man, it's like there's a certain style that it's hard to beat. So let's look at man. This is where it starts. I mean, look, Mac looks tiny. He almost looks like a teenager. And what's interesting was Panda was older and a lot different. I do wish this had like some notes. Granted, it's a little hard since Pearson passed. And there are some, like showing the hairpin is a grappling gun. You can see like, it's hard to see on camera, but you can see the faintest outline of a gun in blue line. And man, this feels very like Ghost in the Shell kind of coded. It's interesting because it's like Mac, the design didn't really change. It's Panda that changed a lot. Like, woof, like night and day, just boom, boom. A lot more conservative, like almost head to foot covered up, showing a lot more skin. And I do know at some point he made a contract. Oh, that's interesting too. And that man, that is very outlaw comics with a little bit like scalp. Ooh. I was about to say though, he did make the um, personal idea of changing them to Mexican, and I don't know exactly when. It might be like, man, I mean, just night and day. Like that car to the like, even like the confidence from this to this is huge. Love that. That's the thing I miss about his stuff too. It was cartoonies, but it was all shape based. Like it's correct. This anatomy like doesn't exist, but it's exaggerated from what exists, so it works. If that makes sense. This man, that is a great piece. That's also their dynamic in so many ways. And I love the other thing I love about this is seeing like how artists handles their figures when it's the little thing. When it's like I don't have 1,000 lines. Even that Mac, like that Mac's a lot skinnier. And what's interesting is like that mustache is curled up. Converse All Stars. I also love when artists do this, where it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna get permission. But yeah, these were the model sheets for Father's Day, and it's little things, but it's figuring out like, hey, how does this work? And like I said, figuring. I remember having a conversation with Pearson about this because he was talking about like Mickey Mouse doesn't work from like camera down, so it's like you never draw him that way. And it's like I think that's why he kind of did all this stuff. It's like, hey, let me figure out before I start. Because what's interesting is you never see this character without his glasses, but here it's like let's figure out what he looks like with his without glasses. And same thing, like the pretty boy look. This is interesting too because it's like you do not see half of this with this character. He's always, I think Pearson figured out it's like you know what, this looks cool here, but it's a lot of work. And this, like, you do not, I think I even mentioned this, you do not see, like, any of this, but it's so cool to see. Especially for how, like, simple the design is, then how complex it is underneath. The boss. It's interesting, too. Here, I'll flip this real quick, but it's interesting because it's like, in some ways, this felt like this should have had, like, a very 80s OVA, like, anime violence. Mac and Pan. I also, it's a little thing, but figuring out, like, their winter wear is such a good look. So apparently, this originally was Peppermint Soda was the character, but it's interesting because it's like, how many times have I said interesting? But taking this character to this character, it's like, yeah, this is where we start to get Panda. And I think this is where, like, I don't know anything about Solomon and Gomorrah, but it's like, especially it felt like Don't Die Until I Killed You was going to be more of this, like, genre and flavor. And yeah, this I feel like this might have been where it's like, oh, let's do the Mexican kind of the Latino flavoring. And I knew like he grew up and he was born in Los Angeles, so it's like I feel like he's tapping into that culture. And I think this was if I had to, this had to be Body Bags too. I think this was Body Bags too that never came out. Which sorry, it's like yeah, you some of these like and he what's crazy is he had like the faintest pencil lines. It felt like. But yeah, this is like just straight. This was for, like I said, Body Bags too. This felt so cartoony. Oh, this is fun. This I loved. So it's like this, and like it's him figuring out how bulky and like muscular he wanted to make Mac. And it's almost like too much, but this was just the right amount. And it's like, yeah, it looks, his stuff looked better without the like internal, like with less lines inside, like having just that bulk shape. 1999, yeah. It's crazy seeing too how detailed his art was. Then he started simplifying, simplifying, and simplifying. That's also like, and I yelled at a couple like I've had a couple artists say like never date your pieces. Like I think in the long run it's better if you do, so people know like, hey, that's when this was. 98. So this was a new character. Okay, I thought this was Panda at first. Yeah, this was a new character. I think this is the other girl on the front. I'm not 100% sure. Such a great, like, just great capture. Especially he had this confidence because he would do like a straight line and then like a curved line, but he knew anatomy so well that he can like it's easy to make that look wrong. Yeah, all from buybacks too, and I only know this from flipping through the artist edition. This guy was in a Dark Horse Presents. And what's crazy is these are like in another universe. I could see these being characters from like a creator-owned superhero line. Yeah, Dark Horse Presents cover. And then just him goofing around. Hellboy. Okay, this is cool. So these are the Michael Turner covers, but if you look carefully, these are the markers. So I think this is figuring out the colors for those covers. And it's interesting because it's like you never see these. And there's like slight differences. And like, yeah, nowadays we could capture this, but it's interesting. I should have grabbed, I have the tray, but I don't have it with me. But yeah, it's like, I don't think you pick up like on the subtlety of like this red, that pink, and that with the cover. Like, yeah, there's a lot here that markers can't capture. Okay, so this was the stuff from Don't Die Until I Kill You. Man, this book looked a lot darker. Like, that Mac is insane. Because Mac almost looks like a force of nature at this point. And Panda, like, Panda's definitely aged and seen some shit. So here's the cover to the other book. I love these, the halfway point, because it's interesting to see, like, his penciling, like how he inks certain lines and treats certain things. These were cool. These were to promote the original Kickstarter, the Don't Die Until I Kill You. He did these short little comics, and oh man, these were always. The other crazy thing about this was the coloring, because I believe Pearson was coloring this himself, but it's like he's using stuff that like no other art, like I've never seen another artist use between the texture and the lighting, and just even the hues and colors. Because he would do this all the time, like make those eyes like pinkish to make the characters look insane. And, there were some of these like, yeah, it's the same panel, but for a promotion, I'm perfectly fine with that. Especially too, like then seeing, I wanted to see more of this that original, that little bit of color opening. Like you could tell that elevator is opening up. Body bags. Yeah, that girl just pees on the car. What's interesting too, especially in this one, like there are times he makes Panda feel like more adultish. Like in this moment, he made her feel like a child. There's also this was always crazy because this was inside of Mac's mind, and it's like you almost get a feeling like Mac was stunted from something at like from his childhood, so he couldn't like he can't be the best dad for Panda, and you see how Panda's like suffering from it. And these were like the only pages from that survived. So like no idea what this story was going to be about, but man, I mean look at the line art here. Like who is this character? It's insane that we lost him. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I think the hardest thing with Pearson, he was a perfectionist in all the worst ways. Because it's like I think he beat himself up and always wanted the best out of his art, and it's like, man, you like him at his like not good, what he didn't consider like passing the test was brilliant for us peasants. So this one's fun. Like I said, a lot of it's all commissioned sketchbooks. So let's try this a bit. Sorry, this one doesn't open as well, but yeah, it's like Batman or Gargoyle. It's interesting because, like I said, his Batman and Hellboy. But this, yeah, this Batman right here, it's like, let's see if I can do this some justice. But that Joker looks insane. And it's interesting because this Batman feels very 90s coded, but it feels like its own thing. And it's great seeing his marker work, like him using black and white with a little bit of grays. He was like the only one to like he took his marker work in a way like he wasn't mimicking Adam Hughes. And it was like it was very easy, and I fell into the trap, we all did, to like mimic Adam Hughes. And he never did. Sucker Punch. So yeah, there's a little bit of buybacks like this one. Whoever owns this original, I am jealous. That's a great one, a panda. Buffy, Crystal. Like I said, it just like I said, who would put that Crystal? Like he did stuff that no one else did. This should have been a cover. Ugh. Lacey. Oh man, if you know the ride, you know this moment, and it's amazing. If you don't, you're missing out. Domino, and it's interesting too because like he did a lot of Deadpool, but he then would incorporate like, hey, her name's Domino. Let's show actual dominoes. This was a great pose. Like all the DC women, Dragon Lady from Terry and the Pirates. Oof, talk about a deep cut. This Electra one, oh yeah, this one I got to show off a bit. Sorry, the gloss. But he did like so. There's the marker to mimic like the patterning on the wall, but then you got the shadows from the other dudes. But then since there's a hole, you can actually see them, and it's like, who did this like this? No one. This is brilliant on so many levels. Also, if you thought you liked the Baroness, no, you do not know the Baroness until Pearson showed you. He knew the assignment. Like I said, I have no idea what this was for. This almost could have been for body bags, but I could be wrong. It's got to be for something else, but man, this like I can't believe this was a cover for Wade Wilson's War. I can't believe that was just like straight marker. And then like no idea what this piece is, but the mood of it's like, whoo. This this was a for a 12 gauge book, and man, I doubt this will ever get reprinted. Judge Anderson. Also, it's like whoever asked for Judge Anderson, right call. But man, talk about random. Such a cool if you wanted a badass woman who could kick your ass, Pearson was the guy. I'm surprised he didn't do more Lobo. Like I do know he did a lot of Legion of Superheroes. Like I never read them, but yeah. And man, Scarlet Witch here never, especially that crown piece. Oof. The way he handled lighting, metal, Tomb Raider, like the Red Sonja. He would have. It would have been interesting to see him do a Tomb Raider book. And this has got to be one of the best Princess Leia, especially showing the dead hut. No one does that. What's crazy, like I said, just those action lines, like Enchantress, Thor. I recognize this as it might be Namor. I know, like, handling water. And like I said, these were all commissions. Oh, a little thing too. Like, no, I've never seen anyone else do this. Like, hey, I'm going to treat, since this is in the background, I'll just treat it straight marker. These were for a cover for a book called Kill Whitey from 12 gauge as well. And just such dynamic and crazy covers. Oh, that's where I thought. Okay, that's where the dog comes from in the other book. This one too, like the hatching. Woo, 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 woo. Oh man, I love this Wonder Woman piece because it's like I've seen this one before, but something about like that tight cropness that just like because it shows like a certain ease of her, but it's also showing a little bit more realistic pose, like her holding her back like that, holding that. Also, what's funny is with Pearson, you can tell the time period why the ankles. Because he used to draw the thinnest of ankles. Case in point, the professional. But yeah, look at them ankles. This is such a great design. Like it's a shame this wasn't a cover for a DVD. Oh my gosh. That skull from Oh My Goddess. Holy, oh my, I have to send that to Omar. He did skull, oh my god, wow. Whoever commissioned that, wow. Like everyone gets X-Men. Yeah, of course you're gonna get X-Men, Goblin Queen. But Skull, wow. It's interesting to see how he handles like anime. Sorry, I'll go back to like, yeah, Psylocke, Goblin Queen. That's a great Goblin Queen. Which I love him playing with the cape. Story. That's a bad. That is a punk rock. Once again, that could have been a cover. Whew. I'm not upset on how he handles Rogue. Kitty Pride, Shadowcat. I love. This is a little thing too. The fact that he took the time to let her in a commission. You know how hard that is. And then showing the old costume in the background. Oh, perfect. Should have been a cover. This is cool too, seeing this Nexus because it's got a little bit of Zipatone. Like great Nightcrawler. But it's fun seeing this because it's different materials used for this Nexus. Zatanna. Although I've never seen Zatanna look that badass or have like ripped stockings. Also too, covering the eyes like not that is such a bold move, but so great. Great angles. The little bit of pink in this is such a nice touch. Because man, he makes Emma Frost look dangerous and insane. And Thong. So yeah, Pearson wasn't for everyone. Oh, I'm assuming that's Poison Ivy. Oof. Pearson wasn't for everyone. Silver Sable. What's crazy is my friends made this cosplay to help promote this book. But yeah, he wasn't for everyone, but man, he was an artist because I guarantee you, a lot of artists looked at him and went, "How did he did what?" Because it's crazy too, like seeing. Oh my gosh! Oh! I did not notice that the first time. Sin City. Okay, I talked about like first and second reads. This is a second. Oh my god, Pearson, you bastard! You know you've done well when comic artists curse you out. Like, whew. Oh, like I said, I really hope these are books. Hell, collect both of these into like a big trade. I don't know, like $40, easy sale, something. These were so much fun, especially like I said, I love the big oversized book, but it's fun to look at like this, especially the behind the scenes. And like I said, this feels like an Ashcan commission book, but in a nicely bound collection. I cannot believe that. Oh yeah, we lost the Titan, but man, no matter what happens, I know his work is going to live on. So thank you all for indulging me in this because this has been me having fun. Like that Sin City, I'm still wow. Oh, take it. Go draw, y'all. Just go create.